ISLAM, Islam, Muslims, Islam. Just saying the word means peace to me. Islam, Muslims, Islam. Now I ask for independence, S for our salvation. L means love for everyone, all over the nation. A is for Allah, the Father of the universe. M's for Moorish Americans and Muslims, which are us. ISLAM, Islam, Muslims, Islam. Just saying the word means peace to me. Islam, Muslims, Islam. Who lifted fallen humanity. Noble Drew Ali, who opened our minds and eyes to see the reason for unity. The Moorish Science Temple of America is where we learn the truth. The brothers and sisters should all attend. Be sure to bring the youth. ISLAM, Islam, Muslims, Islam. Just saying the word means peace to me. Islam, Muslims, Islam. All rise. East. Feet at a 90-degree angle. Raise 5 fingers on the left hand, 2 on the right, and repeat the Moorish American prayer. Allah, the Father of the universe.
Allah, the Father of the universe.
The Father of love.
The Father of love.
Truth.
Truth.
Peace.
Freedom.
And justice.
And justice.
Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My guide.
My guide.
And my salvation.
And my salvation.
By night.
By night.
And by day.
And by day.
Through his holy prophet.
Through his holy prophet.
Drew Ali. Amen. Psalm. All those in this temple, please remain standing that we may be able to give praise and homage together. We rise and give praise to Allah.
We rise and give praise to Allah.
Father of the universe.
Father of the universe.
We give honors to his illustrious prophet.
We give honors to his illustrious prophet.
Noble Drew Ali.
Noble Drew Ali.
Founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America.
Founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America.
Love made manifest.
Love made manifest.
We give honors to his forerunner.
We give honors to his forerunner.
Brother Marcus Garvey.
Brother Marcus Garvey.
Purity made manifest.
Purity made manifest.
We give honors to the Moorish Science Temple of America.
We give honors to the Moorish Science Temple of America.
And everything pertaining to Islam.
And everything pertaining to Islam.
Peace. Islam. This time I read the laws of the Moorish Science Temple of America. First, I'd like to turn your attention to the Divine Constitution and Bible. Salvation, Star and Crescent, our God, all-seeing eye, unity, and peace. The Moorish Science Temple of America, the Divine Constitution and Bylaws. Act 1. The Grand Sheikh and the Chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America is empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the Grand Body of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The Assistant Grand Sheikh is to assist the Grand Sheikh in all affairs if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and it is known before the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Act 2. All meetings are to be opened and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest, because on a Friday the first man was formed in flesh, and on a Friday the first man departed out of flesh and ascended into his Father God, Allah. For that cause, Friday is a holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. No member is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love. Act 4. All members must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all members must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you are a part and parcel of the government and must live the life accordingly. Act 5. This organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality. We are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and a parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, Black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites, whom inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and a partial of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become a part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, through the guidance of his Father God, Allah. Noble Drew Ali, founder, Moorish American Prayer, Allah the Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Drew Ali. Amen. The Moorish Science Temple of America, Home Office, 1000 North Point Avenue, Chicago, Illinois, 60622. Let's take a reading from the 7 Acts of the Divine Constitution and Bylaws of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Next, I'd like to turn your attention to the great meeting is on. Quran questions for Moorish Americans. I'll be taking a reading from page 7 and 8. Questionnaire and additional laws for the Moorish Americans by the Prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Act 1. Grand Sheikhs and governors and heads of all temples, all businesses. Each said temple must be approved by the Prophet, Noble Drew Ali, before acting upon by any members. Let it be finance, property, or any line of life that will cause the members to sacrifice finance, etc., that will cause the support of any group of members. Any former officer that violates these laws is subject to be removed from his office under heavy restriction, etc., by the Prophet or the Grand Sheikh. Act 2. All members are to attend their adept meetings and their public meetings promptly. If a member is found standing around on their meeting period, shall be fined 50 cents on the first case, and on the second, he will be fined $1, which will go on your emergency fund. If the member is working, his monthly dues must be paid, and if he has money in the bank, he must subscribe for as much as he is able to the Moorish Uplifting Fund, because it takes finance to uplift a nation. Act 3. It is lawful and divine duty of every good member, if he is able in finance, to aid me in saving the nation. And if it is not, he is an enemy to the cause of uplifting his own people, and justice must catch you. Let it be he or she, according to love, truth, peace, and justice, as I have the power invested in my hands, and I will have to enforce the law in order to save the nation. Act 4. All members, while making a public speech, must not use any assertion against the American flag or speak radical against the church or any member of any organized group, because we are to teach love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Act 5. All members must promptly attend their meetings and send their children to Sunday school, and the teacher must confirm himself to the questionnaire, and let every member exercise his 5 senses who is able to do so, because out from your Sunday school comes the guiders of the nation. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, Black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and a parcel of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, through the guidance of his father God, Allah. Thus took a reading from the 7 Acts of the Questionnaire and Additional Laws for the Moorish Americans by the prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Praise be to God. This time I take a reading from our holy literature, the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Circle 7, divinely prepared by the noble prophet Drew Ali, by the guiding of his father God, Allah, the great God of the universe, to redeem man from his sinful and fallen state of humanity back to the highest plane of life with his father God, Allah. Know thyself in Allah, period. The genealogy of Jesus, life and works of Jesus in India, Europe, and Africa, in the land of Egypt. I was taking a reading in chapter for the day, found on page 36, the divine instructions from the Holy Prophet, chapter 26, holy instructions of unity. Divine instruction 1. The gifts of the understanding are the treasures of Allah, and he appointed to everyone his portion in what measure seemed good unto himself. Hath he endowed thee with wisdom? Hath he enlightened thy mind with the knowledge of truth? Communicate it to the ignorant for their instruction. Communicate it to the wise for thine own improvement. True wisdom is less presuming than folly. The wise man doubteth often, and changeth his mind. The fool is obstinate, and doubteth not. He knoweth all things, but his own ignorance. The pride of emptiness is an abomination, and to talk much is the foolishness of folly. Nevertheless, it is the part of wisdom to hear with patience their impertinence, and to pity their absurdity. Yet be not puffed up in thine own conceit, neither boast of superior understanding. The clearest human knowledge is but blindness and folly. The wise man feeleth his imperfections, and is humbled. He laboreth in vain for his own approbation. But the fool peepeth in the shadow stream of his own mind, and is pleased with the pebbles which he seeth at the bottom. He bringeth them up, and showeth them as pearls, and with the applause of his brethren delighteth himself. He boasteth of attainments in things that are of no worth, but where it is a shame to be ignorant, there he hath no understanding. Even in the path of wisdom he toileth after folly, and shame and disappointment are the reward of his labor. But the wise man cultivates his mind with knowledge, and the improvement of the arts is his delight, and their utility to the public crowneth with honor. Nevertheless, the attainment of virtue he accounteth as the highest learning, and the science of happiness is the study of his life. Islam? Islam. Fallen sons and daughters of the Asiatic nation of North America need to learn to love instead of hate, and to know of their higher self and lower self. This is the uniting of the Holy Quran of Mecca for the teaching and instructing of all Moorish Americans, except the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Know yourself and your Father God, Allah, that you may learn to love instead of hate. Every man need to worship under his own vine and fig tree, the uniting of Asia. Praise Allah. Praise Allah. Praise Allah. Once again, I'd like to say Islam. Islam. Praise Allah. I give homage to each and every one of you who have joined us this afternoon. We have more Sunday School number 34 for our Sunday School and Quran class. Give honors to all those who have joined us online. And give honors to all those who are unable to make it. But give honors to those who woke up this morning with the thought of the temple, the prophet, and Allah on their mind. I pray that we will all be uplifted by the gifts and the understanding that Allah has apportioned to each and every one of us. I pray that each and every one of us can exercise all 5 senses, those that are able to do so. We pray pray that Allah will be pleased with our efforts. I also pray that we can keep the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice and minds at all times throughout this meeting. Praise be to Allah. Without further ado, Oswald uses. I'd like to call on the Sunday school instructor, Moore Science Center number 34, for the El Serrano Bay. It's time that he may be able to conduct today's Quranic class.
Oh, I can't see Allah, but I feel him in my bones. Oh, I feel him in my bones. Oh, I feel him in my bones. Oh, I can't see Allah, but I feel him in my bones. Feels like fire stirred up, fire stirred up, fire stirred up all in my bones, in my bones. The nearest place to meet him, we meet him all in our hearts. Oh, we meet him all in our hearts. Oh, we meet him all in our hearts. Where's the nearest place to meet him? We meet him all in our hearts. Feels like fire stirred up, fire stirred up, fire stirred up all in my bones, in my bones. Who is noble Jew Ali? He's a prophet of Allah. He's a prophet of Allah. He's a prophet of Allah. Who is noble Jew Ali? He's a prophet of Allah. Feels like fire stirred up, fire stirred up, fire stirred up all in my bones, in my bones. What's your nationality? It is Moorish American, same as noble Jew Ali, same as noble Jew Ali. What's your nationality? It is Moorish American, same as noble Jew Ali, same as noble Jew Ali. Feels like fire stirred up, fire stirred up, fire stirred up all in my bones, in my bones.
Islam. Arise and give all praise to the great God Allah, the Father of the universe, the author, the creator, the governor of the world, almighty, eternal, and incomprehensible. To him alone belong worship, adoration, thanksgiving, and praise. I give the highest honors to the last prophet in these days and time and founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Prophet Noble Drew Ali. I give honors to the forerunner to the Holy Prophet, Brother Marcus Garvey. I give honors to the past Supreme Grand Advisors and moderators of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Brother C. Kirkland Bay, Brother F. Nelson Bay, Brother J. Blakely Bay. I give honors to our former Grand Sheikh, Brother R. Lavelle, and to our present Grand Sheikh, Brother R. Jones Bay. I give honors to the Grand Governor of the state of New York, Brother D. Clark Hill, and I give honors to our Grand Sheikh of Moorish Science Temple number 34, Sister C. Sills. I give honors to all national, state, and local officials of the Moorish Science Temple of America, all of our ministers, our sheikhs, our members, and our guests, foreign sympathizers, and all seekers after truth. And I give honors to man, because when man honors man, he honors his Father God, Allah. Praise Allah. I want to thank our chairman for opening this meeting. I want to thank all those who are with us in person. I want to thank those who are with us online. May Allah reward you for your good deeds. And so welcome to Moorish Science Temple number 34. This is our Sunday school / Quran class. And so what we're going to do is we're going to start off by going into the Quran questions for Moorish Americans. We're going to start with those who are online first. And we're going to go 1 through 20, and then 21 to 40 with those who are with us in person. So those who are with us online, if you can unmute yourselves.
Islam.
Praise Allah. Those who are with us online, we're going to give praise and honors together first. We rise and give praise to Allah.
We rise and give praise to Allah.
Rise and give praise to Allah.
We give honors to Prophet Noble Drew Ali.
We give honors to Prophet Noble Drew Ali.
And we give honors to everything that pertains to Islam.
And we give honors to everything that pertains to Islam.
Praise Allah. Who made you?
Allah.
Who is Allah?
Allah is the Father of the universe.
Can we see him?
No.
Where is the nearest place we can meet him?
In the heart.
From the heart.
Who is Noble Drew Ali?
He
is
is a lost prophet.
He's the last prophet.
What is a prophet?
A prophet is the thought
of
of
Allah
Allah manifested
in
in the flesh
What is the duty of a prophet?
to
to save nations from the wrath
From
of
the wrath
Allah.
of Allah.
Who is the founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America?
Noble Drew Ali.
What year was the Moorish Science Temple of America founded?
1913 AD.
AD.
Where?
Newark, New Jersey.
Newark, New Jersey.
Where was Noble Drew Ali born?
In the state of
In
North
the state
Carolina.
of North Carolina,
1886.
1886.
What is his nationality?
Moorish American.
Moorish American.
What is your nationality?
Moorish American.
Moorish American.
Why are we Moorish Americans?
Because we are descendants of Morocco.
Of Morocco.
Yes, and born in America.
For what purpose was the Moorish Science Temple of America founded?
For the
uplifting of fallen humanity.
How did the prophet begin to uplift the Moorish Americans?
By teaching
them to be themselves.
What is our religion?
Islamism.
Is that a new or is that the old time religion?
Old time.
Old time religion.
What kind of a flag is the Moorish?
It is
a red flag with a 5-pointed green star in the center.
What do the 5 points represent?
Love,
truth,
peace,
freedom,
and justice.
Does anyone have any questions about the first 20 questions in the correct questions for Moorish Americans?
Yeah, I do.
Islam.
Islam. This is brother Inhabit Bay. One of the questions they ask is why are we Moorish Americans? And it says because we are descendants of Moroccans and born in America. So when it's saying that, it's not saying I'm asking this as a question. It's not saying we are descendants of people who are still on the Moroccan land, right? It's saying we are descendants of Moroccans, like people of that land, right?
Islam. Yes. And what we see today is a lot of our brothers and sisters in Morocco through the years, they were occupied by the other nations. At one point, they were occupied by the Ottomans, right, the Turks. At another time, by the French, right, in which they received independence in 1956, in which they were able to then fly what is today the Moroccan flag. And so there was a lot of mixing and a lot of things that were happening at the time. But yes, so if we take the Moors as an example, and we know that the Moors, as it says, are descendants of Moroccans born in America, but we know that it was also the Moors from Morocco that went into Spain, right? And if you look up the Moorish architecture in Spain today, if you look up what they refer to as the Moorheads or the different emblems that they have that are representations of what the Moors looked like at that time, you will see that they were African, right? You have some who are more Arabian looking, but it was a mixture between what we have as African, meaning in a darker complexion, as well as Arabian, which is from light to dark complexion. But those who we see today, a lot of times, they are a mixture of the French as well as the Ottomans. Islam. I hope I was able to answer your question, brother.
Islam. Thank you, brother.
Praise Allah. Any other questions? Praise Allah. Islam, those who are with us in person, question 21. How old is our flag?
It is over 10,000 years old.
Which is our holy day?
Friday.
Why?
Friday is the day on which man was formed in flesh, and it was on Friday when he departed out of flesh.
Who was Jesus?
He was the prophet of Allah
Where was he born?
in Bethlehem of Judah in the house of David.
Who were his father and mother?
Joseph and Mary.
Will you give in brief the line genealogy through which Jesus came?
Some of the great fathers through which Jesus came are Abraham, Boaz by Ruth, Jesse, King David, Solomon, Hezekiah, and Joseph by Mary.
Why did Allah send Jesus to this earth?
To save the Israelites from the iron-handed oppression of the pale-skinned nations of Europe who were governing a portion of Palestine at that time.
How long has that been?
About 2,000 years ago.
What was the nationality of Ruth?
Ruth was a Moabitess.
What is the modern name for Moabites?
Moroccans.
Where is the Moroccan Empire?
Northwest of Mexico.
What is the modern name for Mexico?
Africa.
What is the title given to our ruler in Morocco?
Sultan.
Where do we get the name Jesus?
From the east.
What does the name Jesus mean?
Jesus means justice.
Did the angel give to the child that was called Jesus a holy name?
Yes, but it cannot be used by those who are slaves to sin.
What is an angel?
An angel is the thought of Allah manifested in human flesh.
What are angels used for?
To carry messages to the four corners of the world to all nations.
What is our prophet to us?
He is an angel of Allah who is sent to bring us the everlasting gospel of Allah.
Praise Allah. Does anyone have any questions from any of the questions from 21 to 40? Islam? Any questions? Islam, Sister M. Serrano Bay, can you stand up? Islam, can you stand up? Arise and give praise to Allah. Can you repeat it?
Arise and give praise to Allah.
I give honor to Prophet Noble Drew Ali.
I give honor to Prophet Noble Drew Ali.
Praise Allah. Thank you so much. Who made you?
Allah.
Stand up.
Again.
Yes.
I've been standing up the whole day.
Okay. Who is Allah?
The Father of the universe.
Can we see him?
No.
Where's the nearest place we can meet him?
In the heart.
How old is our flag?
He is over 10,000 years old.
Which is our holy day?
Friday.
What was the nationality of Ruth?
Ruth was the Moabitess.
How many selves are there?
2.
Name them.
Higher self and lower self.
How many days are in a circle?
7 days.
Where did they go?
Where did who go?
All right, so the question before is, who were Adam and Eve? They are the mothers and fathers of the human family, Asiatics and Muslims. Question 58, where did they go? You remember?
No.
They went into starts with A.
Abraham.
No.
They went to
What continent?
Africa.
No. Starts with an A. It's right next to Africa.
the continent Japan.
Asia.
Asia. Great job. So they went into Asia. Islam, can you stand up? We're not finished.
My legs have been tired the whole
All
day.
right, we gotta work our legs out. We're gonna work our legs out today, okay?
Hmm.
You're doing great. Who was Jesus? Who was
He's the
Jesus?
prophet of Allah.
Where was he born?
Abraham and Judah
In Bethlehem.
in Bethlehem of Judah in the house of David.
Who were his father and mother?
Joseph and Mary.
Great job. Do you have any questions? You want to ask some
Holy
questions?
questions.
You got a questionnaire? Get a questionnaire from the back.
Do you have any holy questions?
Yeah, get a questionnaire.
No, I don't have any.
What?
I don't have any holy ones.
Yeah. Maybe you can go through it. We're gonna ask our father some questions. Yeah.
Right now?
Yeah, open it up. Turn around.
Praise Allah. Question
Oh, Islam.
What's the hardest question in here?
Yes. So we're gonna ask Brother I. Smith some questions. Islam.
What's the hardest question in there?
Open it up. Look. You gotta stand by the chair, in front of the chair,
Which chair?
the chair you was just sitting at.
Do I have to do that every year?
Oh my God.
Every generation?
Open up the questionnaire and ask some questions.
Answer them the best I can.
What is the name of a physical man?
What's the name of the first physical man? His name cannot be used except by the executive rulers by the AC of the MST.
What are the words of AC of the MST of A?
Attic chamber of the Moorish Science Temple of America, third heaven.
Who are Adam and Eve?
They were the mothers and fathers of the human family, Asiatics and Muslims.
Where did they go?
They went into Asia,
What is the modern name to give to their children?
Asiatics.
Who is guarding the holy city of Mecca today to keep the unbelievers away?
Angels,
What is the modern name for those angels?
Asiatics.
What is the shade of their skin?
Olive,
Are the Moorish Americans any relation to those angels?
yes, we all have the same father and mother.
Give 5 names that are given to the descendants of Adam and Eve.
Lucifer, Satan, devil, dragon, and beast.
What is devil sometimes called?
The lower self.
How many cells are there?
2,
Name them.
higher self and lower self.
What people represent the higher self?
Those who protect the holy city of Mecca and keep the unbelievers away.
What people represent the lower self?
Those who were cast out of the holy city and those who accept their teaching. Yeah.
What is the higher self?
The higher self is the mother of virtues and the harmonies of life. Preach justice, mercy, love, and right.
Can the higher self pass away?
No,
Why?
because this is Allah and man.
Praise Allah. Thank you so much.
Lower self breed.
Hatred, slander, lewdness, murder, theft, and everything.
Islam Sister Sarana Bay, thank you so much. You did a wonderful job.
Thanks.
Praise
No,
Allah.
but there's a no thanks to the lecturing for ages.
Okay, all right. I hear you, sister. Thank you so much. Islam, Brother P. Martin, Islam. You want to stand up, brother? All right. Question number 75. What was the answer that the lower self gave to the higher self? Found on page 5.
I'm going to and fro earth, seeking whom I may devour.
Praise Allah. All right, off the top. All right. Okay. Has he finished his task of devouring?
Yes.
When was his time declared out?
1453.
You could look. Question 77. When he nailed.
Oh, when he nailed Jesus on the cross.
Praise Allah. What are the last words Jesus uttered?
It is finished.
It is finished. What did he have reference to?
That he had reference to the end of Satan.
Did Jesus say that he would return to conquer him?
Yes.
What is the name of the person unto whom Jesus was first reincarnated?
Prophet Muhammad the Conqueror.
Allah. Do you have any thoughts about these questions here? About Jesus being on the cross, about him saying, uttering it is finished, about him being the reincarnation of Muhammad, the conqueror?
My questions come from regarding those start around 82 and 83 and just the relation between the two. Not understanding 82 and 83, but just the correlation between the questions before and the linking of those two. I guess the linking of Satan and Rome.
Yes.
Or the Byzantine Empire.
Yes, Islam.
Islam.
So what do you know about
it? The Byzantine Empire or Byzantine is once Rome moved from where it first was at to Istanbul or Constantinople. And I know that when it ended is 1453. And then that's also where Christianity is kind of formed, because that's also when the culture of Rome changes from where it was in the beginning to being like monotheistic, but that's also when Constantine,
Yes.
I think, has that meeting with the heads of his society, and they just decide what they're going to keep inside of the Bible and what they're not going
The
to.
Nicene Council.
Yeah.
Islam.
Yeah.
Islam. Great job, Mo. Yeah, great job, brother. Yes, so we have the Roman Empire who are occupying Palestine at the time. No, thank you. So when we go into the questionnaire, there's a question that is asked, which is, why did Allah send Jesus to this earth, right? To save the Israelites from the iron hand oppression of the pale-skinned nations of Europe who were governing a portion of Palestine at that time. So the pale-skinned nations of Europe, you had many nations that were within the Roman Empire. The Romans were occupying Palestine during the time of Jesus, even though it was a Jewish society. But they were governed by Roman soldiers, and they were under the Roman yoke and law. So Allah deemed it necessary to send Prophet Jesus, right, so that he can liberate the Israelites at that time, but they were under the Roman law. So where we have Christianity in before was the term Christian stems from it's a derogatory term that the Romans were using for the followers of Jesus, specifically the apostles, right, who were students and followers of Jesus, and they were mockingly calling them Christians. But the interesting thing is that you have this society who claims to have converted into Christianity, but that's where Prophet Noble Drew Ali talks about the first church and the origin of Christianity. So if we go into the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, divinely prepared by the Noble Prophet Drew Ali, and we go to the origin of Christianity.
57.
Yes. Okay. So the beginning of Christianity, would you like to read it, brother? Instruction 1
Islam.
to instruction 4.
I'm not good with Roman numerals.
Okay,
Chapter
so
46.
Yes.
Chapter 46.
Found on page 57. Yes.
No, I have a page. I just wanted to start.
Okay.
Chapter 46, the beginning of Christianity. The foundation of Christianity began in Rome. The Roman nations founded the first church, of whom crucified Jesus of Nazareth for seeking to redeem his people from under the Roman yoke and law. Jesus himself was of the true blood of the ancient Canaanites and Moabites and the inhabitants of Africa, seeking to redeem his people in those days from the pressure of the pale-skinned nations of Europe. Rome crucified him according to their law. Then Europe had peace for a long time until Muhammad I came upon the scene and fulfilled the works of Jesus of Nazareth.
Praise the Lord. Thank you, brother. Islam, Sister M. Serrano, babe, we are on page 57. Do you have a Quran?
No.
Would you like the Quran?
No, thank you.
The brother's offering you one back there.
Islam. Can you read instruction number 5 to instruction 7?
On what chapter?
Chapter 46, found on page 57.
Is this it?
The beginning of Christianity, instruction 5 to instruction 7.
That's not that long, right? The holy teaching of Jesus was to the common people, to redeem them from under the great pressure of the hands of the unjust, that the lowly and the rich would not oppress the poor. Also that the lion and the lamb may lie down together, and neither would be harmed when morning came. These teachings were not accepted by the rulers, neither by the rich, because they love the principles of the Ten Commandments. Through the Ten Commandments, The rulers and rich live while the poor suffer and die.
Praise Allah. Islam, brother Ashman, can you read instruction 8 to page 9?
Islam?
Islam.
Praise Islam is already given. So 8 and 9, correct? The lamb is the poor people. The lion is the rulers and the rich. And through love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, all men are one and equal to seek their own destiny and to worship under their own vine and fig tree, after the principles of the holy and divine laws of their forefathers. All nations of the earth in these modern days are seeking peace, but there is but one true and divine way that peace may be obtained in these days, and it is through love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, being taught universally to all nations and all lands.
Praise Allah. Peace. Thank you so much, brother. Actually, thank you all for your reading. So this gives us further context in regard to the beginning of Christianity, by Rome being the founders of the first church and Christianity. They're the ones who coined the term Christianity. We know that Jesus never used the term, right? So, it gives us this context, right? So that when the Prophet Abu Ali says that these lessons are for all those who love Jesus, then we know that there are various people that love Jesus, right? You have Jews for Jesus, you have Muslims, you have Muslims, North Americans, you have Christians who say they also love Jesus, right? So we all love Jesus, but the Prophet Abu Ali, he says that in chapter number 47, the end of time and the fulfilling of the prophecies, instruction number 6, it says, we as a clean and pure nation descended from the inhabitants of Africa do not desire to amalgamate or marry into the families of the pale-skinned nations of Europe, neither serve the gods of their religion, because our forefathers are the true and divine founders of the first religious creed for the redemption and salvation of mankind on earth. Therefore, we are returning the church and Christianity back to the European nations as it was prepared by their forefathers for their earthly salvation. While we, the Moorish Americans, are returning to Islam, which was founded by our forefathers for our earthly and divine salvation. So praise Allah. Islam. All right. Islam, those who are online, if you can unmute yourselves. We're going to start from question number 41 and we're going to go to question 60. Islam.
Islam.
What is the everlasting gospel?
It is the saving power that comes from
Allah through our ancient fathers
the
prophet.
What is the covenant of the great God Allah?
Honor thy father
and my mother, that thy days may be long upon the earth land, which thy Lord thy God, Allah, hath given thee.
At what age did Jesus begin to teach?
At the age of 12.
Where did he teach?
India,
Africa, and Europe.
How long did he teach?
18
years.
What does Jesus say that would make you free?
Truth.
What is truth?
Truth is ought.
What is ought?
Ought
is law.
Can truth change?
Truth cannot change or pass away.
What other name do we give to truth?
Holy breath.
What have you to say about holy breath?
All we
Only
can say it is great.
It is great.
It
It
is
is
good.
good.
It
It
was.
was.
It
It
is.
is.
And evermore to
And
be.
evermore to be.
Amen.
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 At what place on earth was the physical part of man formed?
In the
The
Garden
Garden
of Eden.
Where is the Garden of Eden?
In the
In
land
the
of
land of Canaan.
in the
In the
city
city
of
of Mecca.
What is the modern name for the Garden of Eden?
Mecca.
Mecca.
All right. Question 55. What is the name of the first physical man?
His name
cannot be used only
only
by
by executive
executive
rulers
rulers of
of
the
AC
AC
of
of
the
the MST
of A.
of A.
What are the words of AC of the MST of A?
Attic chamber of the
Moorish
Moorish Science
Temple
Temple
of
of
America,
America. Third heaven.
third heaven.
Who were Adam and Eve?
They are
They
the
are the
mothers
and fathers of the human family,
human family,
Asiatic and Muslims.
Where did they go?
They went
They
into
went
Asia.
into Asia.
What is the modern name given to their children?
Asiatic.
Who is guarding the holy city of Mecca today to keep the unbelievers away?
Angels.
Praise Allah. Thank you so much, Moors. Those who are with us in person, question 61. What is the modern name for those angels?
Asiatics.
What is the shade of their skin?
Olive.
Are the Moorish Americans any relation to those angels?
Yes, we all have the same father and mother.
Give 5 names that are given to the descendants of Adam and Eve.
Lucifer, Satan, devil, dragon, and beast.
What is the devil sometimes called?
The lower self.
How many selves are there?
2.
Name them.
Higher self and lower self.
What people represent the higher self?
The angels who protect the holy city of Mecca.
What people represent the lower self?
Those who were cast out of the holy city and those who accept their teachings.
What is the higher self?
The higher self is the mother of virtues and the harmonies of life in Greece, justice, mercy, love, and right.
Can the higher self pass away?
No.
Why?
Because it is Allah in man.
What does the lower self breed?
Hatred, slander, lewdness, murder, theft, and everything that harms.
What did the higher self say to the lower self at one time when he met him?
Where are you going, Satan?
I just want to sleep.
What was the answer that the lower self gave to the higher self?
I am going to and fro the earth seeking whom I may devour.
Has he finished his task of devouring?
Yes.
When was his time declared out?
When he nailed Jesus on the cross.
What are the last words Jesus uttered?
It is finished.
What did he have reference to?
He had reference to the end of Satan.
Did Jesus say that he would return to conquer him?
Yes.
Praise Allah. Thank you, Moore. Islam Smith.
Islam, there's a hand from the Grand Speakers.
Islam, Sister C. Sizzle, Grand Speakers.
Islam. Praise Allah and honor to our prophets. I just wanted to just remind Sister M. Serrano Bay, as I can hear her through the microphone, that I expect her to still be on her best behavior, and that there are ways to work through being frustrated, and I think we've talked about them. So if she sits down and she's still, she can remember them. And this is not the time to talk about it or negotiate. We can talk about this after, but for now, I need you to do what you know you should be doing at the temple. You've been a member for 8 years plus. So I expect you to be on your best behavior. But praise Allah and honors to you all, Moors. Praise Allah. Peace.
Peace. Praise Allah. Praise Allah. So we question 80.
Islam. Can I go in the back now? I'm tired.
Islam. No. But you can be quiet while you wait.
Islam.
Islam.
Is it possible we can ask the sister to get closer to the back row? just so that it won't interfere with the microphone as the Moors may be speaking if there are sounds, because I tend to hear it.
Islam. Did you hear what mommy said?
Praise Allah.
Why does she want me to do that?
Because you're making a lot of noise and it's disruptive.
You happy?
No, I'm not happy.
This is the worst day ever. Oh.
Islam.
If you want to take a minute, I can go finish up the questionnaire.
Islam.
If you're good, we're all good. Praise Allah.
I appreciate it, sister. I got it. I got it. Praise Allah. Thank you so much. You know what? Yeah, no, I got it. Thank you so much. Praise Allah. Question 81. Those who are with us online, what is the name of the person unto whom Jesus was first reincarnated?
Prophet Muhammad the Conqueror.
Praise Allah. Was Satan to be bound then?
Satan was to be bound in part.
When was the head of Satan taken off?
1453 Byzantine.
Byzantine.
Praise Allah. By whom?
By
Muhammad.
Muhammad.
By Muhammad the
Muhammad.
Conqueror.
Name some of the marks that were put upon the Moors of Northwest by the European nations in 1774.
Negro,
Negro,
black,
Negro, black,
colored,
colored,
Ethiopian.
Ethiopian.
Negro.
a name
The
given
name
Given to a river
in West
in
West
Africa
Africa
by Moors
by
by
Moors
because it
because it
contains
contains
black water.
black
water.
water.
What is meant by the word black?
Black according
Black
to science.
according
Black
to science
according
means
to
that.
science.
What does the word colored mean?
Colored means anything
Everything
that has
that
been
has been
painted,
painted,
stained,
stained,
varnished,
varnished,
or
or dyed.
dyed.
What does Ethiopia mean?
Ethiopia Means something
means
divided. something divided.
divided.
Man, be it Negro, black, colored, or Ethiopian?
No,
No,
Why?
No.
because
as
man
man
is
made
made
in
in the image
and after the
after the
likeness of
likeness
God,
of
Allah.
God, Allah.
What title does Satan give himself?
God.
Will you define the word white?
White
White means purity.
purity. Purity means
Means
God.
God
God
means
is the ruler of the land.
To whom do we refer to at times as being the great God?
Allah.
Allah.
Is the devil made in the image and likeness of Allah?
No.
No. He is the shadow of
Allah
our lower selves
and will
and will pass away.
Pass away.
Who made the devil?
Elohim.
Who is Elohim?
Elohim is
Is
the seven creative spirits that created everything that ever was, is, and evermore to be.
What is Elohim sometimes called?
The
seven eyes of
eyes of Allah.
How many days are in the circle?
7 days. 7 days.
How many days are in a creation?
7 days.
7 days.
According to science, how many days are in a year?
7 days.
Praise Allah. I want to thank all you Moors for your participation in Sunday school. Praise Allah. If no one has any further questions in the questionnaire, we're going to go into the chapter that we have for today. Any questions? Islam. Brother Ed Suleiman Bey.
Islam, praise Allah. Honest already given. Speaking about going back to question 76, question key 76, has he finished his task of devouring? Yes.
I'm interested to know some of the more thoughts on the answer. And I always recall when I was first trying to put the 101 questionnaires on CAP, that particular one I would always mistake for no, right? And then it kind of goes into kind of the Moorish science or the way that we view things and how we're able to look through what may appear to be for what things really are. And when I think of the lower self, I'm going to the question prior to what was the answer that the lower self gave to the higher self? I am going to and fro the earth seeking whom I may devour. Has he finished his task of devouring? Yes. When was his time declared out? When he nailed Jesus on the cross. So to me, that was always something that always sparked an additional thought. So I had a question on the question key 76 and the understanding on that piece.
Peace. Praise the Lord. This is a great question, Moses, right? And if we look at the order of the questions, it goes from speaking about the lower self and the higher self, then going into speaking about Jesus's experience with the Roman soldiers, right? Or with Rome specifically. So if we are looking at it in the context of just solely speaking about the lower self, then we have a particular context when it comes to that question, right? But then if we look at it, because the next question, 77, is when was his time declared out? When he nailed Jesus to the cross, right? And then that will speak to question 76 being in a particular context. But if we look at it all together, right, that the sole representative of the lower self or of the devil would be the Romans. And that's the third context, right? So what did the higher self say to the lower self at one time when he met him? Where are you going, Satan? These are biblical references, right? What was the answer that the lower self gave to the higher self? I am going to and fro the earth, seeking whom I may devour. Biblical reference. Has he finished his task of devouring? Yes. When was his time declared out? When he nailed Jesus on the cross. So if we're looking at the Romans specifically, because when we're going into question 83, when was the head of Satan taken off, right? And the answer is 1453 Byzantine. This is speaking about something that actually happened physically, right, between two nations, two people, right? Versus just being a spiritual thing where we are just conquering our lower self. So if we're looking at the devil as a spirit, right, that possesses people, then we are looking at it in that context of, yeah, this person was in his lower self, so Satan is devouring through this person and through that person, but I don't think it's talking about that. I think that it is referring to the fall of the Roman soldiers in 1453. It says, when was his time declared out? When he nailed Jesus on the cross. But this whole conflict is, again, in the same question of why did Allah send Jesus to this earth? To save the Israelites from the iron hand oppression of the pale-skinned nations of Europe who were governing a portion of Palestine at that time. But that's me.
Islam?
Islam.
No, praise Allah and understood Prophet. I'm just each and every one of you. I'm just brother Islam for the thought and the question. You know, we were reading and going through the questionnaire, and I see Anne from our grant, she gets out. Try to make it short. It brought me back to chapter 1, the creation and fall of man. So these questions 74 through 76, you know, where are you going, Satan? You know, these answers. Where are you going, Satan? I'm going to and fro the earth, seeking whom I may devour. And has he finished his task of devouring? Yes. You know, when we talk about the thoughts of Allah being infinite, and each thought of Allah, each, you know, manifests, having its own ether plane. Now, actually, before we go to chapter 1, I actually want to go to chapter further in, if I can. we go to page 18, chapter 9, Jesus and Barada together, chapter 11. Jesus and Barada together, they read the sacred books. And so, page 18, I wanted to read from instruction 21 to instruction 27. And it says, these spirits of the triune Allah moved on the face of boundless space, and seven ethers were, and every ether had its form of life. These forms of life were but the thought of Allah, clothed in the substance of their ether planes. Men call these ether planes the planes of protoplasm, of earth, of plant, of beast, of man, of angel, and cherubim. These planes, with all their teeming thoughts of Allah, are never seen by eyes of man in flesh. They are composed of substance far too fine for fleshy eyes to see, and still they constitute the soul of things. And with the eyes of soul, all creatures see these ether planes and all the forms of life, because all forms of life on every plane are thoughts of Allah. All creatures think, and every creature is possessed of will, and in its measure has the power to choose. And in their native planes, all creatures are supplied with nourishment from the ethers of their planes. And so, as you read on in this chapter, it continues on this thought where each ether had its own plane, had its own nourishment, it was proper. And further on, it talks about how when the ether reached the rate of atmosphere in section 32, and all the creatures of these planes must get their food from atmosphere, the conflict came, and then that which the finite man called survival the best became a law. 33, the stronger ate the bodies of the weaker manifest, and here's where the carnal evolution had its rise. And so to connect that back to chapter 1, I believe this is, in my understanding, part of that carnal nature, right? If we go to page 5 in chapter 1, it talks about perfected man was passed through all the ways of life, and so a carnal was full manifest, a nature that sprang forth from fleshy things. Without a foe, a soldier never knows his strength, and thought must be developed by the exercise of strength. And so this carnal nature soon became a foe that man must fight, that he might be the strength of Allah made manifest. Let every living thing stand still and hear. Man is the Lord of all the plane of manifest, of protoplasm, of mineral, of plant, of beast, but he gave up his birthrights just to gratify his lower self. But man will regain his lost estate, his heritage, but he must do it in a conflict that cannot be told in words. So when I think about that in connection to the questions we're reading, makes me think about when Jesus, goes through these highest heights and these greatest depths, and tells man that what I've done, all men shall do, and what I am, all men shall be. And so there's this sort of restraint that each and every single one of us have to, come into conflict with our lower self. There's some who want to go outside of the nourishment of their ether planes, and there are those who want to protect the holy city of man. So there's a balance and a choice that we can all make as we're all thinking things. That I say peace.
Peace. Praise Allah. And that was a great, actually a phenomenal connection, brother. And it made me think about question number 96, which is who made the devil? And the answer is Elohim. So if we are referring to these seven creative spirits that created everything that ever was, is, and evermore to be, and we are looking at these spirits of the triune Allah moved on the face of boundless space, and seven ethers were, and every ether had its form of life. These forms of life were but the thought of Allah, clothed in the substance of their ether planes. And so we are learning about Allah, right? The all. We're learning about the triune Allah, and then we learn about Elohim, or the seven creative spirits, right? Which are like seven attributes or seven like manifestations of the one, right? So we know in hindsight, there's only one. There's only Allah, right? But when we break it down so that we can comprehend Allah, then we have to create different scenarios or words to use to describe what we can comprehend from a limited understanding. So if we're looking at, as the brother was mentioning, about the carnal evolution and when it had its rise, about chapter 1 when it says, chapter 1 when it says, when it talks about then when it became a foe that man must fight. These so attributes became a body beautiful, a multitude of lessons man must learn upon the plane of soul. And here he tarries many ages until his lessons are all learned upon the boundaries of the plane of soul. The ether began to vibrate slow and still, and then the essence took on a final garb. The perfumes, the odors, and the true sensations and the oil of love were clothed in flesh, and man was clothed in flesh. Perfected man must pass through all the ways of life, and so a carnal was full manifest. A nature that sprang forth from fleshy things, without a foe soldier never knows the strength. So this part right here, when it talks about a nature that sprang forth from fleshy things, about this foe that man must fight. So now we have a compilation of foes that are manifest through the multiple manifestations of man. So if you have a whole nation, for example, that has a foe, and when that foe is in the seat in the heart of man within the nation, then you have a nation that is predominantly driven by the lower self, predominantly driven by Satan. So it became a manifest. So when it says that Elohim is the creator of the devil, they don't say the devil created himself or itself, right? Islam, Sister C. Silzo, worshippers.
It's bomb. So praise the Lord, honest to our prophet Morris. Just within this thought here and beautiful demonstrations and discussions overall. My thought here was that so often, that part where it says these are the missing 18 years out of our Holy Bible, right? And that these are the events that occurred before he was 30 years of age, right? I think that when we look back, specifically, some of the questions in the questionnaire relate back to the Bible. And I looked it up over courses of time, different points in time, right? So specifically, where are you going, Satan, right? Where he says, I'm going to and fro, seeking who I may devour, right? That concept. So I am going to and fro the earth, seeking who I may devour. That concept of going to and fro is found in the book of Job, right? When I was younger, I used to call it the book of Job, but the book of Job. And in Job specifically, he loses a lot. He loses wealth, he loses his health, his children, and then he wonders, why do good people suffer, essentially, right? And within that, the understanding for me, looking at these instructions, goes back into, again, Jesus, right? So when was his time declared out? And that question was answered to me by the following question, right? It says, "Has he finished his task of devouring?" Yes. When was his time declared out? So he had a time declared. That's when he finished the task of devouring, when his time was declared, because it was already declared. But when was it declared out? It was declared out at the time when Jesus essentially completed his mission. And that goes back into, for me, the concept of those that are dead shall never, those that are dead shall live, and those that shall live will never die. The concept, let me get to that. I know that's in chapter 15. 16, 17, chapter 17, and it's divine instruction number, there we go. I'm gonna start at 28, right? It says, "And they will point the way and teach the gospel of the holy breath and the resurrection of the dead." And I wanted to get there because now, once Jesus got the message, right? So to and fro, when they made devour, yes, it's already been decided. They knew, the concept of the lowest self knew what it was going to do, how it was going to pick, right? Knew what to do. It had the opportunity to understand during its concept of the soul, right? When the soul was manifest and we got this garb of flesh, a carnal was full manifest, right? And so now that carnal's full manifest, it was already that nature that sprang forth from fleshy things. Now within Jesus, who came to show the possibility of man, was able to bring Claudius and Juliet after having done himself these things. So he's able to bring forth these things and show. And he says, all power in heaven and earth are mine. So he came back with gifts, right? So it was the demonstration, the title of the vast estate, which was taken. So it wasn't there before. So that concept of the redemption in many ways, when I see it from this particular point, it's multiple level battles, right? So not being afraid of that physical death. So you're not as easy to be oppressed, if that makes sense. It changes the narrative of the battle and what you're pursuing and how you're pursuing the battle. And that's the concept of a form of that enlightenment when I see that. And so Claudius and Juliet, so now the word is spreading now. Word is out because now Claudius and Juliet are the ambassadors. So now he's got them, they're going to teach, and now others are going to learn. And so essentially all of mankind, if you will, can be woken up. And that concept of those who are dead will those who are dead will live, and those who shall live will never die. But that's number 22. It says, you men of Rome, I am the resurrection and the life. They that are dead shall live, and many that shall live will never die. Praise Allah more. It's beautiful, beautiful questions and beautiful thoughts. Peace.
Peace. Praise Allah. Praise Allah. I want to thank all of you most for your participation. Unfortunately, we are running out of time. We're going to have to go into the Quran, Holy Quran of the Moorish Science of America. Chapter number 26, found on page 36. Holy Instruction in Unity. Praise Allah. Instruction 1, the gifts of the understanding are the treasures of Allah, and he appointed to everyone his portion of what measure seemeth good unto himself. Hath he endowed thee with wisdom, hath he enlightened thy mind with the knowledge of truth, communicated to the ignorant for their instruction, communicated to the wise for thine own improvement. True wisdom is less presuming than folly. The wise man doubteth often, and changeth his mind. The fool is obstinate, and doubteth not. He knoweth all things but his own ignorance. The pride of emptiness is an abomination, and to talk much is the foolishness of folly. Nevertheless, it is a part of wisdom to hear with patience their impertinence, and to pity their absurdity. Yet be not puffed up in thine own conceit, neither boast of superior understanding. The clearest human knowledge is but blindness and folly. The wise man feeleth his imperfections, and he is humble. He laboreth in vain for his own approbation, but the fool peepeth in the shadow stream of his own mind, and is pleased with the pebbles which he seeth at the bottom. He bringeth them up and showeth them as pearls, and with the applause of his brethren delighteth himself. He boasteth of attainments in things that are of no worth, but where it is a shame to be ignorant, there he hath no understanding. Even in the path of wisdom he toileth after folly, and shame and abandonment are the reward of his labor. But the wise man fills his mind with knowledge. The improvement of the arts is his delight, and their utility to the public crowneth with honor. Nevertheless, the attainment of virtue he accounted as the highest learning, and the science of happiness is the study of his life. Praise Allah. Islam. This is such a beautiful chapter. You know, as for me, it always puts things into. It always makes me reevaluate myself, right? Reflect on myself, right? Reflection is the business of man, and it makes me, have these thoughts of whether or not I'm the fool or the wise man in a particular encounter, right? And I remember being, as a young man, who was foolish, and yet I was too insecure to ask questions, right? Or allow to know if I didn't know something, right? They have barbershop talk, a lot of conversations and things that are happening, and people were talking. One of the wisest things you can do in a conversation of you not knowing something is to be quiet and listen, right? And in the Moorish Science Temple of America, in the development of that thought, I personally use it when there's a lot of elders around, right? When elders are having conversations, all of this experience that they are communicating, one of the wisest things that you can do is to sit and listen, right? So, does anyone have any thoughts about this particular chapter? Islam. Praise Allah. Islam. Praise Allah.
Islam?
Islam.
Praise Allah. Announced the chapter. Announced this discussion. I find that I feel like it can work both ways a lot of times, and I was talking about this recently, that I learned the most from spending time with my elders and also those people younger than me. And I feel like, a lot of times early on in my life, I was like one of the youngest people. A lot of my younger cousins were like not around me as much. But now that I'm a little bit older, and like I'm an uncle, I have my nieces and my nephews, and just being able to give them the time. And, a lot of times I want to, just tell them things and, just like try to share my understanding, but I also know that I have to meet them where they are. We talk about that a lot, but I find that, the spirit that comes naturally at a certain pace, you just have to be willing to still yourself. If you have to still ourselves with the still small voice that speaks within, and we want to look into the face of man and see the image of Allah who speaks within, look for the vessels in others and give them the vessels within you. Sometimes when you, talk to elders or listen to the elders, you may think they're coming from a certain approach, but there's a thought of love there, and there's a thought of sincerity there, that if you just, attune your ear to that sort of voice or the level that they speak or frequency, that there's gifts of understanding that they're giving to you. And it's a blessing to have that. And the same thing with the youth. They may have a little more rapid thought. They may be speaking more quickly or, jumping from different vibration to vibration, but there's still a sincerity and a sentiment to that. So it's a blessing just to be able to find that stillness.
Praise Allah. Yes, peace. And, it goes into what the Prophet Abu Ali mentions about looking for the best in others and giving the best that is in you. And we know Allah alone is perfect, but Allah is in each and every one of us. Whether it's the fool or the wise man, Allah is there. And, as our brother was mentioning about the younger generation, being a wise man or a fool is not confined to age. So, we learned that even in the mouth of babes, as the Prophet talks about, that there's even a certain level of wisdom, right? Sometimes a child might say something that's just so cut, so straightforward, but it's the truth, right? They might ask a certain question. You might be on the bus or on the train. It's a question that they sincerely want to know, but it's like, ooh, you don't ask it like that, right? But it's a sincere question, right? Islam, Sister J. Jordan, and you have Islam, Sister J. Jordan.
Islam. Prison I was already given. And so just honors to all of you and everything that you've been saying. Specifically about the chapter, I thought it was beautiful, especially with our youth online and Sam Serrano Bay Temple, just remembering that this is such a great place to learn and ask questions. And if we don't, if we can't find the answer for you, like we'll get the answer for you. So just to encourage viewers that we talk about unity all the time, but what it really means, and then the actual application of it, how do we put it into practice? I think that's something that we continue to work on, but we see it in different places in our lives. And then the chapter beginning with the gifts of the understanding of the treasures of Allah, and He appointed to everyone his portion, just to remind, I love that there's a uniqueness for everyone. There is a purpose for everyone. Something that I know our parents try to instill in us, that we each, there are expectations for us, that we have so far to go, that there's so many things that we envision for our children and that have been envisioned for us. But for us to totally spend that time getting to know ourselves, the higher self, the lower self, and then understanding that what's for us is for us, that the treasures that we have and our understanding, how we put forth our communications, how we share information is unique, and that's okay. Just my last point is when the other day I was teaching third graders, and I just had to remind them that it's okay when we're reading out loud, that you might not understand it if you're reading out loud, that you want to read along. So if you have your Quran, you're reading along, and you've got to go through word by word and understand it. That's great. For some of us, listening to it being read hits home as well. And for others, it's a visual learning, but it takes time. But each person learns in their own unique way, and there's a uniqueness for each of us. And so with that, I'll say peace.
Peace, praise the Lord. You know, and what comes to mind also is, you know, we had this conversation about marriage instructions for man and wife, right, from the Noble Prophet, and about scandal, right? When scandal is busy and the fame of her neighbors is tossed from tongue to tongue, if charity and good nature open not her mouth, the finger of silence rested on her lips, right? And it reminds me of, you know, the golden rule, or the grandma rule specifically. They say if you don't have anything nice to say, then don't say anything at all, right? The Prophet Nabi Ali, he tells about that wise words are uttered in due season. And sometimes, you know, we can, wisdom or even knowledge can be not just used as a freeing mechanism to convey the truth, but it can also be used to hurt people depending on the wrong time, maybe the wrong environment, right? And so if we're looking at this communication, communicated to the ignorant for their instruction, communicating to the wise for their own improvement. You might find a situation where you might be communicating to the ignorant for the instruction, but they're not ready to be instructed. And so you could, you know, possibly find yourself in a scenario where it's not a productive or conducive one, right? Islam, Brother S. Suleiman Bey, and did you help me in that? Brother S. Suleiman Bey?
Islam. Sister A. Suleiman Mube would like to read a definition.
Islam, Sister A. Suleiman Bey.
Islam. I'm reading the definition of impertinent. Not belonging, not permanent, not pertinent, not to the point, irrelevant, not suitable to the occasion, inopportune, not in accordance with good manners, lacking in consideration and respect, officious, impudent, and insolent. Peace.
Peace. Praise Allah. That was such a beautiful share, sister. I want to thank you for sharing that with us, because it goes right into this conversation of it not being an opportune time, it not being necessary for the time. There is a hand up from Sister J. Jordan, Islam.
Islam, and honest to our dear sister, I'm sorry, what was the initial?
A.
A Slim, but Islam. So what a beautiful day. Can I just say it is the first Sunday of the month. Sisters Auxiliary, usually on this day, it's for them. And so just to hear from the sisters is such a beautiful opportunity. And I just also wanted to add that I once got the opportunity to meet some of Brother Salim Ubey's daughter, who are absolutely amazing, years ago. I mean, I don't even want to say it, but so here we are, and to hear her on this call, I just want to give her honors. And then when she was speaking, it reminded me of what our Sunday school instructor spoke about in the marriage instructions. We're talking about prudence and and 11, which her eyes speak of softness of love, but discretion with the scepter sitteth on her brow. Knowing when to speak, right, is one thing, and knowing what to say is another. Knowing when to be silent, there's a power in that, because we know that there is a power in silence. And knowing, like, there's so many challenges here. So I was also going to say that there's this concept of this women that we, as we're described here, and it's wonderful. And then there's the challenges that get thrown our way. And so in the challenge, in the test, right? So Satan going to and fro, and whether we're going to look at it as we're talking about, as he said, specifically, we're talking about two situations, possibly we're dealing with the Romans, or we want to look at it in a spiritual sense that once you've gotten through with your lower self and you've been able to conquer that, the test there's no finality, there's no end to it, in a sense. It's just you've conquered that test and you're on to the next. And so I was thinking, when we're talking about submission and obedience are the lessons of her life, so many lessons, right? And then we come back to understanding that we are not just working alone. Like these are all the lessons and tools that we're learning today. And just to get to the unity of it all, knowing that we are prepared. The gifts of the understanding are the treasures of Allah, and He appointed everyone. He didn't leave anyone out, right? Just like we think about these tests and we're thinking, oh, God, why me? Like, what is the point? What's this about? And it's a test for God, or He, no, the test is for us. The test is for us. And so praise Allah for all of the lessons and the challenges here. But I just wanted to give honors for that because there's so much here and there's a lot in this with the pride of emptiness and to talk much, the foolishness of folly. So there's a point here that there is an opportunity to understand that there's work to be done all the time. And yeah, sometimes it feels never ending, but there is a challenge here to know that even though you may think you know stuff, you really don't know anything. We're always starting again. And that's what you want. You want to know and ask questions. So praise Allah to all of the Moors for doing that. Peace and love.
Praise Allah. Praise Allah. Islam. Sister C seals there. Grand Shikis.
Islam, praise Allah. Such beautiful thoughts and beautiful minds. And Islam's sister, A. Sulaim Mubay, I don't know if the Moors took note. That was also what we discussed just last week, Sunday, right? Last Sunday school, we were talking about the etymology online and we were talking about definitions and dictionary. And so just praise Allah that our sister brought forth a definition to a word that I wouldn't say we readily use or utilize in our everyday conversation to ensure a better understanding. And she read it so eloquently, so beautifully, and pronounced the words so well. So, just honors to the Moors and much gratitude to you, dear sister, for the courage to share. And honors to all of the youth, as I see they've jumped onto the line on their Sunday school. Islam Sister M. Serrano Bay, and honors to you as well. I know it can be challenging being in the temple as the only young person there. Well, Islam Moors, pardon me, as the only person under double digits there. Praise Allah. Now, my thought, if I can just be really quickly with this thought, it was the idea that within holy instructions of unity speaking to holy instructions of oneness. And then in divine instruction number 10, it says, nevertheless. So that's like, despite all else, it says the attainment of virtue. So to attain something, attainment, it says from Old French, from Latin, and it gives a word, I don't want to mispronounce it, but it says to reach, to touch, or arrive at. And attainment implies effort, progress, and achievement through discipline. And now when it speaks to this, it's saying the attainment of virtue. And now virtue, so the effort, the progress, the achievement through discipline of, your courage, your strength, your moral discipline, not merely just avoiding doing wrong. So it's working on the perfecting or making your character as well refined as possible, right? And then accounteth is what you regard or what you see as the highest learning. And that would be, the noblest form of education, as noble with thinking about our prophet. And then it says the science of happiness. So science goes back into knowledge. So to study these things is the importance of it, is the way that we attain happiness. So happiness isn't just something that just mysteriously appears or it can be fleeting if we just expect for it to appear on its own. But it's saying when we cultivate these things, we can better guarantee this outcome for ourselves because we produced it ourselves. So I wrote some questions. What habits can produce peace, right? What virtues can strengthen our character? What thoughts can elevate the mind, right? And what actions can benefit ourselves, but also society without overwhelming ourselves? And it's a lot, but how do we stay, but the forms of being able to stay grounded while interaction and that impertinence was very important to hear. And so to be able to even hear, even if it may seem irrelevant or it may seem even rude or out of place, and to still respond with compassion. That's a skill, Morris. That's a skill. There are people that have to go to school for years to do that and to interact with people who may respond in a way that may not be well received. And so, may Allah truly be pleased with everyone's communications, thoughts, works, and efforts. And with that, I'll say peace and much gratitude, brother Sunday school instructor and sister assistant Sunday school instructor. Peace.
Praise Allah. Peace. And one of the things that you said, sister, and we are running out of time, so I'm gonna try to be as quick as possible. Was about the attainment of virtue, and in hindsight, the attainment is based off of our restraint, our discipline, right? Because just because you want to say something doesn't mean that you have to, right? Just because you have a thought doesn't mean it has to be said. And that's the utilization of the wisdom that the Prophet Nuh Ali is referring to. I'm going to take two readings from two oral statements and prophecies, and then I'm going to ask Brother Asmithia if he can read something for us, and then we are out of time. It's 3:31. 196. It says, Sister M. Peyton Bay said that the Holy Prophet said, "If it were not for that little piece of red flannel, we would not get into so much trouble." And then it has in parentheses, "If it were not for our tongue, we would not get into so much trouble. Talking too much gets people into trouble." 197 says, Sister M. Peyton Bay said that the Holy Prophet said, "The only thing that hurts a duck is its bill. The only thing that hurts some people is they talk too much," right? There was an article that was published in the Moorish Guide newspaper in 1929. Brother Asmith, would you do the honors of reading it, brother? It's titled Tongues, and then we're going to close out this one. Praise Allah. Yes, that's fine. Have the Secretary of Time. Islam, I want to thank you for your participation, those who are with us in person, those who are with us online, those who are with us in spirit. May Allah continue to bless us all as we get ready for our work week. It is Sunday. Peace and love, Morris. I'm going to take the chairman, please.
Islam? Praise Allah. Like the Imam our dear brother Elsman Bay, Sunday school instructor from West Side Summer 34, doing a wonderful job leading and instructing today's Quran class. Also want to give honors to our dear assistant Sunday school instructor, Sister J. Jordan, for her vibration, for her demonstration, and honors to each and one of the Moors for everything that they contribute thus far. At this time, before we lower the meeting in the Secretary's time, I'd like to call on Brother C. Ferguson, Assistant Chairman of West Side Summer 34, to read the warning.
Islam.
Islam.
First, I rise, give praise to Allah, and honor to the Prophet, give honor to the pertaining to Islam. Read the warning. January 15th, 1929. Prophet warns all Muslims and governors order to read proclamation at each meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical, agitating speeches while at work, in their homes, on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards of your opinions that cause us confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, and freedom, and when these principles are violated, justice then must take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings towards the temple or the prophet or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid out to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card button, cease wearing their turbans or fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement funded by the prophet to the will of Allah. If the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet therefore sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet to the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sins.
By order of Prophet Noah do I leave. Peace.
Peace.
Islam?
Islam.
Praise Allah. I'd like to give honor to our dear brother, Brother C. Ferguson, for a reading of the warning. The meeting has now been lowered to the Secretary's time. This is the opportunity for the members to contribute any of their dues and assessments, as well as any of our guests contribute any donations. So for all the Muslims Adiatis to hear about the announcements that we have going on within our nation, as well as within our state, as well as locally. At this time, I'd like to call on the Secretary of Moorish Science Supplement number 34, Sister J. Jordan Neal, that she may be able to share today's announcements as we collect any of the finance inside. So, Sister J. Jordan Neal.
Islam, person I was already given. The announcements that I have, I placed into the chat, and I will try to share the screen. Hold on just 1 second. All right, start the screen. Praise Allah. Islamors. If you'd like to pay your dues and donations, you can do so using our Cash App. We have PayPal and Zelle. If you're going to use Cash App, it's $MSCA34. You can also utilize the QR code. I've placed it into the chat. Additionally, if you're going to use Cash App, please make sure to be mindful to include the fee that's charged along with it, and to make a note into the section what you're sending in your donation for. Additionally, if your handle is not readily identifiable, please just add your name in there so we can know where it's coming from. If you want to use PayPal or Zelle, that's fine too. Just use the temple's email, mooresciencetempleno.34@gmail.com. Additionally, we have upcoming this week, we have our civics class on Wednesday from 6 to 7. It's on Zoom, the same line we have today. So please join us. It is facilitated by our brother Sheikh, Brother K. Turner Bey. And it's usually a pretty interesting class. It's every other Wednesday. So you want to, if you can make it this week, that would be great. Otherwise, you'd have to wait another 2 weeks. And praise Allah. We also have our Thursday Q&A, our question and answer national conference call. It's held every Thursday, and it is a dial-in number. If you are having any difficulty getting in on the line, you can reach out to any one of us, and we'll try to tie you in. Or if you can reach out to us on Facebook, we are on Facebook. We have Instagram and Facebook, and we have a Facebook chat. We have a public and private group, and you can find us under Moorish Science Temple number 34, NO.34. It's a really great idea to join our Facebook group chat so that you can also be aware of all of the pertinent and relevant announcements that we get. We make sure to post it there. We recently had our sisters retreat, and now we are preparing for the brothers retreat. It will be on June 6th at 10 a.m. It's just one day. It's held in Maryland. I believe it is $50. And if you are interested, you can get your tickets in advance so you can reserve your seat. You want to contact Brother Jake Havnis Bay, and I've put the information into the chat as well. Again, it's one day, and it's going to be held in Baltimore. It's actually on it's on the same block on the other side of where we held the Sisters Auxiliary. I also wanted to remind the Moors about the camp out. It's going to be July 3rd to July 5th. It's held every year at Moorish National Home, number 1 in Virginia. You should register. It's really important that you do so that they can make sure that they have accommodations for us and everyone. If you do not want to camp outside and you would rather camp in or bring an RV, you can do so. But again, you need to register because there are limited spaces for the RV. If you have camping gear or you need to get camping gear, that would be best for if you want to sleep outside. However, if you don't want to sleep outside, there are hotels nearby where you can sleep and then just spend the day or, enjoy the other activities at the colony. If you have any questions, please let us know. And again, I just want to take a moment to wish a happy birthday to Sister T. King Bay. And honors to Sister Jones Bay, because, it's not just her birthday. You gave birth on that day too, and you're an amazing inspiration for all of us. So with that, I will say peace. Peace and love, Morris.
Peace. Praise Allah. I'd like to give honors to our dear sister J. Jordan, for all of her work. And I appreciate you for sharing the information with the Muslims so we can keep informed and stay present. Make sure we can connect with each other as often as possible. Make sure we can take care of the responsibilities and all the necessities of the most of America. At this time, I'd like to ask if there are any children on the line that would like to announce themselves just to say Islam, any of the parents that may have any children with them, as they may not have their own accounts, we just want to be able to recognize them in the attendance. So I just want to give an opportunity for any of the children, the youth, and any of the parents with any children. Islam, Sister M. Jordan.
Islam, I'm on the line too.
Praise Allah. Sister M. Jordan, honors to you, dear sister. Praise Allah. Islam? Islam. Is that Sister Bella Bass Bay?
Miss Bella Bay.
Praise Allah. Praise Allah. Good evening, Sister Bella. Islam? Praise Allah. Praise Allah. So make sure we have you all. Islam.
Islam.
Brother J. Comaniel, and then younger brother J. Comaniel. Praise Allah. Honest to you. Pleasure hearing more is truly. Just want to make sure we have a good attendance. Islam?
Sister L. Comaniel.
Sister L. Comaniel. Praise Allah. What's the L. Comaniel? Sorry, not there. So we have an additional 1, 2, Sister Bella. Islam, just want to give an opportunity for any of the other children, any of the Muslims. I want to say Islam. Those on the line.
Islam for the brothers, Brother B. Jordanelle and Brother J. Jordanelle. They're tweens, so praise Allah.
Praise Allah. Honors to the brothers. I definitely got them down when I saw them earlier. Honors to you, Brother B. Jordanelle and Brother J. Jordanelle as well. So just say 3 more online. Praise Allah. Praise Allah. I give honors to each and every one of the parents. I give honors to each and every one of the children for showing their support and their participation. It's a great demonstration of Act 5 from our additional laws. All members must promptly attend their meetings and send their children to Sunday school. And the teacher must confirm himself with the questionnaire and let every member exercise his 5 senses who is able to do so. Because out from your Sunday school comes the guidance of the nation. So it's a blessing to be amongst the guidance of the nation and those who are exercising their 5 senses. Praise be to Allah. Islam, I do. Praise Allah. I want to recognize any other hands or any other questions that we had earlier in the meeting. I know D. Martin, can help you.
I didn't even have a question. I was just going to share some of my thoughts. But
praise Allah, you can as well.
The instructions were about the holy instructions of unity, and I feel to me it reads kind of like we're always in a relationship. Like there's people who are wise and there's people who are foolish, but they kind of exist in the same plan, and the kind of like remembrance of like that the clearest human knowledge is blindness and folly. It makes me think of like in the archetypes of literature, there's the character like the fool, and like they have the highest propensity for growth because like they're remembering that they are a fool kind of keeps them at the feet of knowledge. So I think that's kind of like, to me, that reads how I should practice unity, is to remember that even no matter what, how much you gain of knowledge, you still are like but a fool. But you know what I'm saying?
Praise Allah. Praise Allah. Peace. Honors to you, dear brother. Appreciate you sharing that thought. it's extremely powerful, and I feel like part of the central theme of this chapter, and it's interesting that you brought up the archetypes in literature, and I know these archetypes also can exist in drama. We talk about the mad human drama. So if you have, as you said, the wise man and the fool are part of the same plan. So we have this thought that we're all working together to help our understanding. It also talks about, in chapter 2, where when the light shines in the dark, call men want it not. So you have this relation between those who have received the light and those who reveal the light, and those who live in the dark and live in the carnal thoughts of the world, and how we share this existence. We share the plane, and things may manifest together. So it's a blessing that we all unfold at our own rate, and we all know that. We shouldn't boast of superior learning, superior understanding. Some get another thought.
Yeah.
Praise the Lord. I just want to, I recognize your hand. I know there was another hand from Brother Ferguson now. Oh, praise the Lord. So yourself, Brother Ferguson now, and Brother Coleman now. Then I'll read Brother Sean Bay.
Because it says you shouldn't boast of what you have, and I feel like in the first words it says the gifts of understanding, and it kind of like gives a reference point to like understanding like what you do gain of wisdom comes from the source of Allah. So it's a gift unto you. It's not something that like it's not of your own self. You know what I'm saying? Of your own fruition. So yeah.
Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Back to that chapter 1 where it talks about wisdom comes from out the highest plane of spirit life. Praise be to God. Someone recognize Brother C. Ferguson here? Islam. Islam.
Islam. I was just trying to deal with the point where you were talking about slander. And go to page, chapter 3, talk about the Lord said, breathe, hatred, slander. And then when you go to also 2 places in the Holy Quran, the more times of America speak about it. And it says, page 40, chapter 32, he says to not his neighbor, he believes not the tale of the Henry of the Netherlands, neither repeated ye their slander. Right? And then you go to page 39. We talk about opening up the ears unto slander. 39. 4.
Instruction 5, chapter 30.
Yeah. Instruction 5. Give ye not puffed up in their own conceit, neither boast of superior understanding. No, that's not on it.
Yeah, chapter 30, so page 39. You read
39. They open up the arms to slander. Because when you start opening on the ears on there, that's what happens. It comes inside and you have to deal with it. And you don't pass it on. You don't, once you come inside, you got to deal with it. You got to deal with that low energy, that low assault. I just want to cover those things with slander, few places in the Quran that teaches us about slander. And your sister read about slander. Slander is really from tongue to tongue. You know how that gets.
Absolutely.
So we got to be very careful because we're dealing with a thought and an energy that is not conducive to the development of working on self. You just bring us down to the low level because that's what slander breeds. Lord said, breed hatred, slander. That's what it breeds.
Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. I'm seated by Praise the Lord. I'm seated by the C. Ferguson. I appreciate you sharing that thought as well. I do see 3 hands online, so I want to just go. There's Brother Jay Coleman, Sister Jay Jordan, and I saw the Grand Chief just put her hand down. So I'd like to call Brother Jay Coleman. I know you have to stand up.
Islam, the beneficent and the merciful. I rise be praised to Allah, and I give honor to His Prophet Noble Ali. I give honor to everything pertaining to Islam, and also give honor to everything open the chair they gave honors to. Ye are the children of one father, provided for by His care, and the breast of one mother have given you suck. Let the bonds of affection therefore unite thee with thy brothers. that peace and happiness may dwell in our Father's house. And when ye separate in the world, remember the relations that bonded you to love and unity, and prefer not a stranger before thy own blood. If thy brother's in adversity, assist him. If thy sister's in trouble, forsake her not. So shall the fortunes of thy father be contribute to the support of his whole race, and his care be continued to all your love to each other. I just want to say, stay focused, stay on the path, because the prophet said, without the prophet, you are lost. Peace.
Peace. Praise the Lord and honor to you, dear brother Jay Coleman. I appreciate you for reading from chapter 25, Holy Covenant of the Asiatic Nation. Praise your job. It's Sister Jay Jordan, and then I saw a hand from brother Jay Peterson at some point. Brother Ferguson. Brother Ferguson, you got a hand up again?
No, just that when you read the covenant, you keep putting that word in B.
Oh, understood. Right. So the fortunes of thy father contribute to the support of his whole race. That's right. Praise be to God.
Take the B out of it.
Praise the Lord. Honestly, Brother Ferguson, I appreciate you, Brother Coleman, for reading.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord. Psalm Sister Jay Jordan.
Islam, I was having some difficulty hearing the chairman from the back there. And so if you were able, he doesn't need to repeat it, but maybe if you could just tie in the slander conversation, because I missed it.
Oh, praise Allah. The brother was reading from two examples of when slander was used.
Tossed from tongue to tongue.
Right. There was the first point, I believe that you referenced yourself. And then I know that you read from page 39, chapter 30, Holy Instruction to the Prophet, Social Duties, instruction 5. He openeth not his ear unto slander, faults and failings of men give pain to his heart. And then in instruction 4 of chapter 32, found page 40, Holy Instructions from the Prophet Charity, says, instruction 4, he censureth not his neighbor, he believeth not the tales of envy and malevolence, neither repeateth he their slanders. So just emphasizing, these expressions of slander as a part of the lower self and how, we guard ourselves from it. We have to watch for it. And I believe the brother was emphasizing that. Once you let that thought in, especially reading from chapter 30, opening not your ear unto slander, because once you open that ear and it comes in, it festers, if you will. It builds and acts on itself. Praise the Lord. Does that answer the question, dear sister?
Yes, it does. Since we have, again, we have children in different ages on the line, and I just always want to be mindful of that. And so when we're talking about the word slander, what it actually means. So when I read it out of the marriage instructions, and it says, when scandal is busy and the fame of her neighbors is tossed from tongue to tongue, if charity and good nature open not her mouth, the finger of silence resteth on her lips. This concept of knowing when to speak, when not to speak. We talked about that earlier, and that there is a power in silence. And so I was connecting that back. And so thank you for speaking about that. But it's just a thought there that I just can't put my finger on. And so I'm going to say it as clearly as I think I'm hearing it. And again, just for, from what my understanding is. So praise Allah that we can share our portion. It's so important that when things are going on, you may not know anything about what's happened. You may not know the details, the facts, or whatever you might have heard. You don't want to run with information. But when people have that kind of information, when they have the facts, the sources, and they're going through and they're being quiet or not speaking about it, or they're watching, doesn't mean they're not listening, doesn't mean they're not learning. It doesn't mean it's not heard or that you're not taking from it. But the best part about this, I was thinking about what Brother Jay Coleman does when he's reading chapter 25 and why it's so powerful. On page, when you read chapter 25, and it says that ye are the children of one Father, provided by his care, and the breast of one mother hath given you suck. Let the bonds of affection unite thee. We talked about unity earlier, so we tied that in. With thy brothers, that peace and happiness may dwell in thy Father's house. And when you separate in the world, remember the relationship, things going on within each and every one of us, things going on, and prefer not a stranger before thine, but that bindeth you. So, but I want to get to this part where it says, If thy brother is in adversity, assist him. If thy sister is in trouble, forsake her not. So it doesn't matter what the scandal is going on. If there's something that's going on with a brother or a sister, we have a responsibility, not just to, well, one of them is not to spread the business, but to do what we can to, once we hear something's happening, and if there's something that we can do within our power, then that's what we need to do. So we're definitely active Moors. We're not just listening and letting it go, but we want to make sure that when we do hear something, that we're not passing on misinformation or running with it, but that we're definitely not inactive and letting things fly. I just wanted to say that and make that clear. And with that, I'll say peace.
Peace. Praise Allah and honors to you, Sister J. Jordan Neal, for that demonstration, for emphasizing the sharing of this knowledge with the children and all those in different realms of understanding. And just to read again that instruction from social duties. He openeth not his ear unto slander. The faults and the failings of men give a pain to his heart. And praise be to Allah for that thought. Psalm Brother J. Petersill.
Ye are the children of one father, provided by his care, and the breast of one mother have given we suck. One arise and give praises to the great God of the universe, honor to his prophet, and everything that he hath brought for the uplifting and fallen humanity. I want to give honor to man. When he honors man, he honors his Father God Allah. And peace, most happy Sunday.
Peace. Happy Sunday.
Just wanted to share a little something I just discovered over here on the globe we got in Temple. It's a term on the American part. It says Septranilius, and it's actually it says America Septranilius, and it says Septranilius is a Latin term for northern, right? So Septranilius is northern. America Septranilius is Northern America. That's right. A Latin term for Northern America. And Kimmel with the Moors, not all the time, right? Because the prophet tells us that, where the highest heights are gained from.
Those who reach the greatest depths.
Right. So, and he tells us clear as human knowledge is divine as the Father. Right. So a lot of times it's in the thought that we're holding on to that's manifesting what we're seeing right in front of us. Right. So not until we are kind of able to let certain things out of our grasp, and then we'll be able to see the ethers correct itself in front of us. Right. But just not all the time is when something that seems like it's going down, is it a bad thing? But that's a piece.
Praise Allah. Honest to you, brother, for sharing that thought, as well as identifying that point. I remember we talked about it before at the end. The significance of each and every place, having its proper station. Talk about wise words are uttered in due season. I think that continues that thought. Praise be to Allah. I do see Anne from the Grand Sheikhs. I want to give her the opportunity to speak. I want to read from the Moorish Guide, a portion that Brother Stranabay shared with us, and ask him to read financial report. Islam, Sister Grand Sheikhs.
Praise Allah. No, please continue.
Praise Allah. Understood. Just want to take a reading from the Moorish Guide, National Edition, February 1st, 1929. It's entitled Tongues, and this is written not by the Prophet Noble Ali, but this is written for the Moorish Guide. It says, one of the most difficult things in this world to get control of is the human tongue. Kipling never wrote anything more truer than when he wrote that. Man may hold most any post if he'll only hold his tongue. Before you set your tongue to action, get it under control. A single tongue can do more harm in the world than a battalion of soldiers. For soldiers can kill but bodies, while the tongue can kill reputations and characters. Really, it is too bad that we have no laws to curb tongues from lying and scandalizing. No doubt you all have read the story of Iago, a character in one of Shakespeare's plays, when he powerfully pictured in the character of Iago the terrible consequences following the path of an evil tongue. Iago not only destroyed the reputation and pure character of Desdemona, but he finally, through Othello, killed her body. That's why I say, compel your tongue to speak helpful messages, or else keep it still. Make it a rule of your life to use your tongue for high purposes only. Resolve to speak of man or woman of no other way, unless you speak of good qualities of that man or woman. No one ever gained happiness out of injuring the feelings or character of someone else. No one ever failed to get happiness by speaking well of other people. So learn as if you were to live forever. Live as if you were to die tomorrow. Praise God. Like calling our Grand Chiefs, and I'm calling Brother El Serrano Bay for the financial report. Psalm Sister Grand Chiefs.
Islam, praise Allah. Well, this is beautiful, more all of these thoughts, but not just the thoughts, the intent behind the thoughts. I wanted to speak to Brother Penelope Martin's statement when he spoke from chapter 26, Divine Instructions from the Holy Prophet, Holy Instructions of Unity. The gifts of the understanding, right, are the treasures of Allah, and he appointed to everyone his portion, which measure seemeth good unto himself. And he talked about it and recognized it as a gift, as it's something that's not truly just there, right? So the concept of him speaking to me and what I heard was, it's not in flesh to think, it's not in bones to reason. There's something higher, something else that informs thy clay, is what he was saying within the understanding of it. And what it made me think about was the chapter on inconstancy found on page number 50. And it speaks to the same thing that the brother was saying. And I just want him to be able to just be resounded in his thought and note that he can also find what he was saying in further connection to that. And on page number 50, chapter 41, Holy Instructions from the Prophet and Constancy. Now, divine instruction number 3 and divine instruction number 4. Islam, is it possible that we can ask Brother Penelope Martin to read that one for us? Because I know it may be better from him being in the temple already. Praise Allah.
Those who gave thee a body furnished it with weakness, but he who gave thee a soul armed thee with resolution. Employ it, and thou art wise. Be wise, and thou art happy. Let him who doeth well beware how he boasteth of it, for rarely is it of his own will.
Continue if you can. I'm sorry, just the next two.
Is not the event of an impulse from without born of uncertainty, enforced by accident, dependent on someone else. To thee and to accident is due the praise. Beware of irresolution in the intent of thy actions. Beware of instability in the execution. So shalt thou triumph over two great failings of thy nature. Peace.
Peace. Praise Allah. And just to connect that thought, the fact that of how you were able to just look at that particular instruction right now, right, and how you read it, the concept, that's an area of being aware, right, and being aware of aspects of that instability, right? It's being aware of the gifts, it's being aware of the Allah that's within. So I think that that's a beautiful, beautiful thought. And I want you to just, to reflect on that for yourself. So I don't want you to take it as you just read it and it was like, oh, okay, yeah, I caught that. I want you to just see that there's a degree of profoundness to that understanding. That was a gift in and of itself of the understanding that you displayed by stating that. And so may Allah be truly pleased, and honors to the Moors once again. Beautiful, beautiful Sunday school. And after Brother Treasurer gets to complete the reading of the report and we pass through the vote, I just have one more statement to make before we close out.
Praise Allah. Thank you, Sister Green. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you as well.
Praise Allah. At this time, I'd like to call on Brother El Serrano Bay, Treasurer of Moore Science Seminar number 34, to read this afternoon's financial report in attendance.
Islam.
Moore
Science Temple of America Incorporated, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, founder, Temple number 34, May 3rd, 2026. Public collection was $19.50. Uplifting fund was $16.50. Traveling fund was $12.50. Local building fund was $15.50. Attendance was 24, 7 in person, 17 online, with a grand total of $64. Peace.
Islam. For the reading of the financial report and attendance was the will and pleasure of the Moors. Islam, Brother C. Ferguson.
Islam. I move that the financial report be accepted with necessary correction of the year, along with the attendance.
Praise Allah. Peace. It was moved by Brother C. Ferguson Neal that the financial report and attendance be accepted with any necessary corrections if there be any. Can I receive a second? Signed by the J. Peters.
Praises and honors already given. I second that motion.
Praise Allah. Peace. It was moved by Brother C. Ferguson Neal and seconded by Brother J. Peters that the financial report and attendance of May 3rd, 2026 be accepted with any necessary corrections if there be any. You ready for the motion? Or are you ready for the question?
Question.
All those that are in favor of the motion, please show by the demonstrated voting. The secretary note that the motion has been carried.
Carried. Praise Allah.
Praise Allah. I'd like to give honors to Brother Elster and obeying all of his efforts as our treasurer, most not number 34, as well as our sister, Secretary Sister J. Jordan for all of her efforts. Before we close out more, I'd like to give the Grand Chiefs an opportunity to share their thoughts. Sister Grand Chiefs.
Islam, and just to camel walk with the chairman, I'd like to give our brother chairman honors for all of his efforts, his words, and his thoughts. As a chairman, you don't sit and give honors to yourself, obviously, but praise Allah and honors to you, dear brother, for your work. Now, the thought was, unfortunately, I didn't want to have to announce it, but I do have to announce it. I noted that our brother W. Kundinabe is at the temple today, but he's not in good standing. And so I don't want him communicating as we have come to a decision as a Sheikh board. I was hoping that we would have been able to have it done where it wasn't necessarily having to be expressed outwardly, because it would have been honored and respected by ensuring that our brother would have, sat on the back row, not continued to say Islam or peace or, singing along. I do encourage that if there was a restriction placed that we all can pray in unison. But I think it's important to understand that there is a standard to be held. I won't go into detail as to what those restrictions are for, but just know that the Sheikh board has met about it and there are restrictions placed. And so I do ask again that our dear brother is able to honor that and work with us so that we can get through this. And I hope that the Moors again, keep all of your leadership in prayer. Keep all of the nation in prayer. And this doesn't mean to frown upon anyone. These are steps of correction and things that the Prophet has set in his laws. And so I just want the Moors, to encourage one another to do the right thing. I want us to have the courage enough for truth. I want us to stand on what the Prophet has instructed us to do. And I want us to be empowered to do so. And so may Allah continue to love, guide, and protect us all as we do what we can to work and love and protect one another through these holy and divine instructions and by holding to the foundation that the Prophet has left. I thank you again, Brother Chairman, for giving me the moment. And with that, I'll say peace.
Peace. Praise be to Allah and honors to you, Sister Grand Sheikh. I appreciate you for all of your thoughts and for your leadership. I'd like to give honors to Brother W. Clinton Bay by the AGS, and honors to Brother C. Ferguson, Assistant Chairman, as elders of Morris Summer 34 for their leadership and for their efforts as well. I pray that Allah will be pleased with each and every one of our efforts and our striving towards the uplifting of fallen humanity. I pray that we'll be able to keep the divine covenant of our holy and divine prophet, Noble Ali, in mind. Keep our hearts and minds pure with love and our bodies clean with water. I pray that we can keep the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice on our hearts and minds at all times, but act them out at all times. And I pray that we can keep the Moorish American prayer on our hearts and on our tongues in times of need and during the day and during the night. May Allah be pleased. All rise. Face the east. Feet at a 90-degree angle. Place 5 fingers on the left hand, 2 on the right. And repeat the Moorish American prayer. Allah, the Father of the universe.
Allah, the Father of the universe.
Father of love.
The Father of love.
Truth.
Truth.
Peace.
Peace.
Freedom.
Freedom.
And justice.
And justice.
Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My guide.
My guide.
And my salvation.
And my salvation.
By
night.
And by day.
And by day.
Through his holy power.
True
True
Holy
prophet.
Prophet,
Raleigh.
True Ali.
Raleigh.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Praise Allah.
Praise Allah, boys. Yeah.
Praise God. Love, Morris. Happy Sunday.
Happy
Thank
Sunday, beautiful Sunday school. Praise Allah.
Islam, brother.